And I'm going to hand this right on over to Josh and let him get started talking about the secret to donor management. Josh, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Doing great. I'm
Awesome.
excited to be here. That's for the introduction, and thanks so much for everybody that decided to show up and bear with us with the technical difficulties. So I'm going to talk about the secret to donor engagement today. And I mean, the question that everybody should be asking really is, how do we convert website visitors into avid supporters? The most recent research that I've seen suggests that overall, only 1% of your website visitors for nonprofits will join an email list, and about the same, 1.1% will actually complete a donation. So, I mean, the real question is, how do we engage those other 99%, and how do we boost our new donor acquisition along the way by doing that? And the answer is retargeting and personalization. And so I'm going to just give a brief overview of what retargeting is, in case that's an unfamiliar topic to you. And then I'm going to dive right into the actual strategy of moving people through the donor engagement cycle. So retargeting has actually been around for quite a while. The very first example of it was a tool called Boomerang by DoubleClick, all the way back in 1998. And what it did is it looked at users on your website and then allowed you to run ads to those users to bring them back to your website. Because if people come to your website, they're coming for a reason. But if they don't connect right away, then you want to bring them back so that you can actually build that connection. Retargeting is also often referred to as remarketing, or sometimes it's been referred to as programmatic marketing in recent years. So it really became popular with Facebook custom audiences in 2007, and it's expanded from there. Google has remarketing lists for search. Email has cart abandonment emails, and then there's AdRoll, as well as products like Journity. And so you might be asking, what does this have to do with donor engagement? And the answer is, it's the tool that you use to drive people through the donor engagement cycle. So at 5Q, we really look at this 5-stage approach. And the first stage is reaching out to new visitors that don't know anything about you, and you don't know anything about them, and inspiring them with your content, and then moving them all the way through making that connection, educating them about opportunities within your organization, finally making that ask, and then driving long-term relationships through partnerships with appreciation, and continuing to show your impact. So the first stage that we're going to talk about is the inspire stage. And like I said, this is the very first time people visit your website, especially online. They say you only get one chance to make a first impression. When it comes to online, research has shown that it takes about 50 milliseconds, or 0.05 seconds, for people to start making a decision about your website. So you want to make sure that they get to the most engaging content right away. You want to show them that one thing you want them to know. If they only take away one thing, what do you want them to know about your mission? And if you take a minute right now and just think about your homepage of your website and think about what is on it, there's a good chance it's a donation ask. There's a good chance that there's a large hero image or something like that. But people coming for the first time are probably going to have to dig to find the information that they want. So the characteristics, we call website users in this stage visitors, and we call them visitors because, like I said, they don't know anything about you. You don't know anything about them yet. They're just coming to your website, and they're coming for a reason. And so generally, they're looking for a cause that they can stand with. The trend over the last couple years, especially in the last year or so, has been that people, millennials in particular, are really focused on causes, and they're less brand loyal. So they're looking not necessarily for a organization to join or an organization to support. They're looking for a cause to be impact that they can have an impact on, and a cause that they can join. And so at this stage, that's really what they're looking for, and they don't want to put in a lot of effort yet because there's a lot of options out there, and they want to wait until they find the option that most aligns with their values. So how you want to inspire visitors is, one, you want to make a great first impression. You want the visual design to capture their attention and draw them in. And then you want to lead with compelling stories, and you want to create content that gives them a reason to come back. So we recommend offering a special welcome message exclusively for first-time visitors. And that welcome message should be brief, and it should make it crystal clear, what your mission is, what cause your work is for, as well as the impact that your work is having. And that way people will know exactly if your mission and your values align with theirs, and if they decide to build a deeper relationship with you, what kind of impact their efforts are going to be having on the world around them. So at this stage, people are just coming to your website, and the tactics that you're going to want to use is to actually reach out off of your website into the communities that they're already in. And you're going to do this through off-site retargeting, which would be, your Facebook audiences based on interest, or other custom audiences. You're retargeting through Google or Google Ads grant, ad roll and display retargeting. And this is also where your content strategy is going to come in, because as we get through these stages, you're going to see that you want to draw a straight line from your initial contact with them, where you're showing off your mission and your impact. You're going to want to draw that all the way through each of these 5 stages, so that eventually they become a partner and it aligns the whole way. The next stage is connect, and this is where you want to keep them coming back until they're able to make a connection. E-commerce says on average it takes about 7 brand interactions before users will make a decision. When it comes to donations, that might even be much higher. We haven't seen any thorough research on this in the nonprofit space, but it holds true. It seems to hold true that it doesn't take any less than 7 brand interactions. So that's why you want to keep the retargeting, keep reaching out to their community, whether they're hanging out on Facebook or Twitter, and keep bringing them back to your website. And then the characteristics of leads, we call them leads at this stage, and that's kind of a salesy term, but the purpose is that for us, it really describes what it is. These are people that have really shown an affinity for your cause. They've interacted with your ads, they've interacted with your content, but they haven't given you permission to connect with them yet. They haven't given you their email address, their phone number, their mailing address. They haven't given you anything that allows you to actually make that connection and gives you permission to contact them. So at this point, we're calling them leads instead of connections. And how you want to connect with leads is through what I call micro conversions or micro engagement opportunities. And this is things like email signups, signing online petitions, coming to local events. These are things that align with your mission and align with the impact that your organization is having, but require very little commitment at this point. And what I have here, this image is actually an example from the Bowery mission, which is a rescue mission in New York City. And they have these, they call them resource cards, which you can print off as a PDF and put them in your pocket. And it tells all of the details about the Bowery mission. It tells what they offer: meals, clothing and showers, medical help, overnight shelters, all those services. On the back, it also has, the times the meals are offered, phone numbers to connect people, as well as subway stops to get to their locations. And so people can download this and cut them out and put them in their pocket. And then when they're walking around New York City, If they find a neighbor in need, they can connect them with the Bowery mission. And that's a great example of a micro engagement opportunity, because these people obviously care about helping the homeless in their community, and it doesn't take any real commitment to download these cards and cut them out. They're free, and it's easy to do, and it helps them to further the mission of the Bowery when people are out walking around and making those connections with the homeless in their community. So when you want to build a connection strategy, you want to continue with the offsite retargeting. So you want to keep bringing people back to your website, but you want to add in personalization. So you want to use things like geolocation data. For the example of the resource cards, if I gave those to you out in Lincoln, it would not be very helpful. So you want to look at making your campaigns relevant based on location, making it relevant based on the type of content that people had previously read, and then you want to offer them digital products like those resource cards so that they can take that next step and engage. The third stage is to educate. So now you have people who've given you their contact information, they've given you permission to actually reach out, and they're eager to develop a deeper relationship. This is an important step, because so many times people say, oh, I like that organization, I like what they're doing in our neighborhood, but I don't know how to get involved. So this is your opportunity to actually guide them, educate them on the opportunity, on the available ways that they can get involved, and guide them to the most meaningful places for you and for them. So each visitor who comes, this is where they'll take a different journey. Some people would like to be hands-on and volunteer. Some people are just looking for information that they can share with others, while others are, in a position where they want to give financially. And so you want to be aware of the actions that they've taken and actually go ahead and build out journeys for each specific entrance into this funnel. So you want to personalize the opportunities to engage by using their past data. You want to use tagged segments, which you can do on site through tools such as Journity. And you want to use things like content affinity and their engagement scores. Now, content affinity is what it does is it allows you to actually look at what information these people are viewing on your website and build an idea as to what their interests are. A great example of this is going back to the Bowery mission example. They have a couple articles on the best ways to help the homeless in your area. So we know that people who are reading those articles, reading that series of articles, has a strong content affinity towards helping the homeless. And from there, we can build that micro conversion on, this is an easy, low commitment way to actually do something and help the homeless. And then once we know that they have taken that next step, we can say, all right, these people really want to help. Maybe the best next step for them is to actually come in into our kitchen and serve meals so they can get hands-on experience. And that's looking at their preferences and seeing where their preferences and their desires and skills can be used to help further your mission. And then also engagement scores is it's very similar to a lead scoring if you're familiar with sales or that type of thing. But what it does is it looks at things like how often they come back to your site, how many pages they've read, how long they spend reading your content, and a bunch of other factors to show how engaged they are. If they're actually engaging in your content and what they're doing and how strong that affinity is towards your organization. So stage 4 is where we actually get to the ask. And this is, now they've been educated and we're asking them to actually jump in and do something. In particular, we're asking them to make a donation. And so picking the right moment here is key. Blackbaud late last year put out a white paper called Creating Your Advocacy Fundraising Moment. And that white paper, I highly recommend going back and checking it out, as one that I still refer to, because it talks about what is the right moment to ask. And if you've gone through all the stages up to this point, you have people that are really primed and really desiring to help out your organization. And so now you want to pick the right moment to ask them. And your supporters, at this stage, we call them supporters, and they're highly engaged users. As I mentioned, the engagement score is a good indicator, and they've completed one or more micro conversions. And they may have even gone as far as volunteering or something like that, that's a little higher of engagement level and a little higher of commitment. So the timing of this should relate really to the personalized journey that we talked about. Going back to the Bowery mission example, these people started with something that's very low commitment, reading an article, all the way through passing out resource cards, and then potentially coming and actually serving meals. And so then you could give them a seasonal ask. Hey, you've served meals, you've seen firsthand exactly the impact that we're having. We have a big need because we serve a lot of people at Thanksgiving time or at Easter time. And so will you donate to help provide those meals? But it could also be a seasonal ask. We know that a lot of people are looking to give on Giving Tuesday, or towards the end of the year, or it could be related to a broader social movement. Think about the latest presidential election. If you read the Millennial Impact Study at all about that, you found that 35% of millennials plan to give more after the election because it was such a polarizing event, and 41% of those that did actually give were first-time donors. So if you're laying the groundwork, building the relationship ahead of time, you have people that already know your organization is aligned with their values, and now is a good time to ask. And as we covered, it should have a direct line of logical next steps from your very first interaction all the way through to the ask. It should be timely, whether it's relevant to something your organization is doing, an expansion project, or something that's happening more globally. And it should be true to your mission and to your brand of your organization. And then the last stage is appreciate, and this is where you convert supporters into longtime partners. The most recent data I've found has overall nonprofit retention rates for donors at 45%, which means that over half of the new donors you've collected this year or you've acquired this year are not going to come back next year, or not going to come back to make a second donation. And the astonishing part of this is actually 53% of the donors that aren't going to come back, when polled, said that the reason was tied to poor communication. So you didn't follow up and show your impact, the impact that they were having, because remember, people are looking to latch themselves onto a cause. Or more commonly, you forgot your manners. People don't see the please and thank you. They don't want to be taken for granted. And if they're not being communicated to after the donation, they're going to leave and go somewhere else. So the characteristics of partners is really, we want to get people to make that second donation, and we want people to switch over to monthly giving, or put things together such as estate planning and wills and trusts that will generate revenue for your organization long term. So building a thank you strategy, really you want to make the thank you personal. At this stage in the game, you should have a lot of information about this this donor. What path they've taken through the whole cycle, your constituent relationship management program, your CRM, should have data as to what campaigns they gave to, how much they gave, all that type of information. So you want to make the thank you personal. You want to thank them, as I said, for the specific campaign they donated to, and thank them across multiple channels. You know, if you noticed, you're getting a lot of emails, especially during campaign season. So just sending out an email might not be enough. You know, you may be doing your part to say thank you, but they might not actually see it. So you want to send it across email. If you're able to text or call, you want to send across those channels. And then also we recommend creating retargeting custom audiences and using that as well. So when they log into Facebook, they see a thank you. When they come back to your website, they see a personalized thank you. And then also they're getting the emails, the phone calls, and the texts, so that that message gets through. And the thank you should also include information that shows off the impact their gift has, because as I said, they're looking for a cause to support that aligns with their missions and values, and they're looking for that to have an impact. They're not looking to support your cause. They're not looking to support your organization. They're looking to have an impact on the cause that's most important to them. So make sure that you continue to show off the impact that their gift has. That is the 5 stages of donor engagement. That's how you can use retargeting and website personalization to engage people along through the whole process and to make sure that you're getting the most new donors possible. At this time, I don't know, Randy, how much time we have left, but if there are questions, I'm happy to answer.
Right now, the question box is open if anyone has any questions, but so far you've satisfied their their ears.
All right.
Yep, I would go ahead and move forward.
All right, sounds good. I just have a little quick presentation to help on the way. I'm from 5Q, and we are a digital agency that is focused on helping cause-based organizations multiply their digital impact. As a result of the work that we've done, we created Journity, which is the first personalization platform designed specifically for nonprofits. And since Journity has been started, we've actually helped build strong relationships with over 90 million people through the organizations that they support. And the evidence of these strong relationships is everything that we talked about today: increased donations, expanded email lists, better attended events, and enhanced website experiences. We would really appreciate the opportunity to serve you and to help you multiply your impact and show you exactly firsthand how Journity and how personalization can help you with your digital presence. You can go and you can sign up at journity.com for an account. It's free to get started. We do currently have an offer right now where if you sign up for a paid account, you'll actually get a month of free strategy consulting. And so if you went through this whole program, this whole webinar, and you found the information useful, but you're still letting it sink in and not certain how to actually implement it for you, let us know. Sign up for a paid account, and we'll work with you for a month, free of charge. In addition, free of charge for that paid account to actually implement this for you, implement the personalization part for you. So thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to me or reach out to Randy, and he'll put you in touch with me. Thanks so much.
Hey, thanks again, Josh, for giving us some information. It's some good statistics around how engaging donors will definitely help with donations. And also thank you to Journity. We have a great partnership. We've been experiencing a lot of success in working on some of these engagement tactics, and I appreciate that as well. So thanks to everyone for listening. We are recording this, so we'll be sharing that with you so that you can share it with anyone else that might be interested. But thanks again, Josh, and everyone, go out and do good.